Hello everyone and welcome back to Chapter 2 focused on syllables, stress, and the varying sounds, both vowel sounds and consonant sounds. Now, we're going to talk about both of these next week, in the next two chapters. And we talked about consonant sounds and vowel sounds in our 65 class as well. And just a moment ago, we talked about vowel sounds and how vowel sounds can have their simple vowel sounds, or what we have are called glided vowel sounds, right? Where there's a lot of movement with the mouth in order to, well, glide from one vowel sound to the other. So we talked about some differentiation in vowel sounds in English, and now we're going to talk about differentiation in consonant sounds. Now, spelling often clues us as to how letters are pronounced. Uh, the consonants are pronounced in English. Spelling will clue us in as to how those letters are pronounced, but not always. And you can see here in these examples how a letter in English can be pronounced a variety of ways. It uses different consonant sounds just depending upon the vocabulary word itself, and then also in terms of the position, right? Whether the letter is at the very beginning in the initial syllable, maybe toward the middle, or at the final syllable in the word. So that too will also have an effect. The good news, though, even though the book contradicts it a little bit, I think you'll find uh, there are common prefixes and there are common suffixes, and we talked about suffixes and syllable stress again in our 65 class. I think as you build your vocabulary, especially in the reading in the vocabulary class and in your day-to-day and reading in English, as you build your vocabulary, you will see spelling patterns and the consonant sounds that are commonly used in the spelling, in those spelling patterns, right? In those particular letter combinations. So while spelling often does provide us some clues in terms of how we pronounce each of the letters in a word in English, sometimes there's some differentiation. So let's take a look at the letter G here. And if we go to our interactive IPA chart, the letter G is more often than not a guttural g, g, very much in your throat, very little movement going on in the mouth. Most of that G sound is produced in our throat. G, g. You can play the IPA chart there to play around with that sound. Now that's traditionally how it's pronounced, but you can see here, like in gold, g, g, gold, go, gone, gorilla. There are many examples in English, right, where based on the spelling, especially at the beginning of a word, you're going to get that guttural G sound. But there are other combinations where G is pronounced a bit differently. It uses a different consonant sound. Like, for example, in general, general, j, j, general. No longer is it the traditional G consonant sound, it's the what is normally used for the J consonant sound. J, j, general. So sometimes there's some differentiation there. And then in beige, at the very end of a word here, beige, beige, j, j, j. has the same consonant sound that is used at the very end of the word measure. J, 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 j. So the good news is, even though there's some differentiation, you will be able to pick up on these patterns as you expand your vocabulary. And you can always look up the word, as we are doing right now, in your Longman Online Dictionary. You could use Google. Don't forget about your useful online tools, and use these tools anytime you're acquiring a new vocabulary term. If there are words that you have that I always mispronounce this word, or I wonder how this word is pronounced. You come across it a lot and you want to dissect it and acquire not only the vocabulary and the meaning, but the pronunciation so that you can adopt it. Use these online tools. Look up the word in the Longman Dictionary, just how we've learned in this chapter, to identify the proper stress and also the IPA. And you can play around with the interactive IPA to practice the sounds, and the sounds in particular that you have in question. And you could also use Google as a pronunciation tool to practice, a practicing method where you can type the word into Google. For example, general. We'll do that right now. The word we were just looking at here, general, because that word may exist in your first language, but it's pronounced very differently, right? So putting it into Google, we're going to put general, and then we're also going to add the word pronunciation. So any word you want to learn or practice, and I think it only works with one word. You can't do a full phrase or prepositional phrase, for example, and then you put pronunciation, and then you can see the word comes up here, shows you how many syllables there are, shows you which syllable is stressed, and then you can practice. General, general. General. Not working for me now, perhaps because I have AirPods in. But you can practice the word and actually even listen to it as well. Slow it down so that you can see how the different syllables in the word, the consonant sounds and the vowel sounds in each syllable are produced, and then practice. Quick and easy way to isolate certain words and practice the particular features in the pronunciation of a word, whether it be stress or the particular consonant sounds or vowel sounds in that word. Great tools there that you should be using. So back to what we were talking about with regard to consonant sounds and how they vary. And like I had said, also the position, right? Whether it's at the beginning or more in the middle or at the end, that will also have an effect on how consonants sounds are produced. For example, traditionally it's the SH consonant cluster, the schwa, sh, sh, sh consonant sound. Usually that consonant sound is produced with the letters S and H together. However, we see that consonant sound come up in a variety of other contexts. The TI combination, ratio, or CI, social, or SSU, assure. In addition to the traditional SH combination, this consonant sound, the sh, as in shoe, can appear in a variety of different spelling combinations as well. So, to practice, exercise 9 asks you to write the symbols used in your dictionary for the underlined letters in each set of words. And then, using your Longman dictionary, find the using the pronunciation guide, which you can also find under useful online tools for this chapter, for this course. Use the pronunciation guide to write the key word, the word that is often or is typical in which that consonant sound is used. So I'm going to repeat these words for you, and then you're going to look up the consonant sound that is used to produce the sounds of the underlined letters. And again, spelling provides us clues, but there is some differentiation. Zero, lose, close, razor. You can see that's the z consonant sound that is used for all of them. And notice it's both for the letter Z and S. Number 2, show, initiate, pressure, special. It's an example of the sh consonant sound there, like how we saw up above. And you can listen to CD1 track 14 as well to hear the pronunciation again. Check, check, furniture, nature, situation, situation, cha, cha, cha. Number 4, division, division, usually, Asia, beige. That's what we saw here at the very beginning. The ja, ja, ja. Not ja, forgive me. Ja, ja, ja. Consonant sound. Ja. Not a fricative. All right, and the last group here, joke, graduate, graduate, agent, agent, schedule, schedule. That is the j, j consonant sound. So again, spelling often gives us clues, especially for these very first set of words in each group. But the other ones, as you are already aware at this point, not always is words in English pronounced the same way that they're written, and that there's some differentiation, especially in terms of where the position of the consonant of the letter is. So always keep an eye out for those patterns too. Hopefully you can identify some spelling patterns in which these consonant sounds usually are present. So that is consonant sounds and the differentiation of the pronunciation in English.